Tokyo Sports Hall was full. Every seat had someone in it. There were so many people that the whole place felt like it was shaking. The crowd was loud. They cheered. They shouted. They made so much noise that it sounded like thunder rolling inside the big building. Bright lights shone down from the ceiling. They moved in circles like birds hunting for food. All the lights pointed at the middle of the big mat where the fighters had been battling. This was the big fight of the night. Everyone came to see it. And now the fight is almost over. The air inside the hall felt heavy. It was filled with the smell of sweat. You could almost taste the excitement. The people were breathing fast. They wanted to see what would happen next. Everyone was waiting for the big moment. In the middle of the mat stood Riku. He was the champion of Japan. Everyone knew his name. He was famous in the world of Judo. People said he was the best. His chest moved up and down like a big drum. His shoulders were wide, and his muscles were strong. His white Judo outfit was loose and wet with sweat. He looked like a lion that had just won a big fight. His eyes were bright, full of pride and power. He had won again. On the floor, lying at his feet, was the other fighter. This man was good, but tonight he was unlucky. He had tried hard, but Riku was too strong. The man held his ribs and made soft groaning sounds. He was in pain. The referee lifted his hand to show the fight was over. Riku had won. Again, the announcer walked to the center with a microphone. His job was to speak and say nice things about the fighters, like, "Good job," and "What a great match." That's what happens after every fight. But something happened that no one expected. Riku moved fast. He reached out and grabbed the microphone from the announcer's hand. Everyone gasped. People in the crowd stopped cheering for a second. Some shouted in surprise. Others cheered even louder because they liked drama. But one thing was clear. Every single person was now looking at Riku. Riku was not just a champion. He was also famous for being proud and loud. He liked to talk big. He liked to make fun of people. He liked to show he was the best, and no one could touch him. Everyone in the arena knew this. Riku brought the microphone close to his mouth. You could hear him breathing hard through the speakers. Then he started to speak in English. His English was not perfect, but he spoke slowly so everyone could understand. "Is this it?" Riku shouted. His voice was like a boom of thunder. This is what they send against me. Pathetic." The crowd gasped again. Some people were shocked. Others started to boo loudly. Some still cheered because they loved the drama. But Riku didn't care. He just smiled. His smile was big and scary, like a wolf showing its teeth. The anger and noise from the crowd didn't bother him. It made him happy. "Look at them." Riku shouted, pointing his finger at the people in the seats. "You cheer for weak men. I crush them like insects. Japan deserves a real champion, not these weaklings." His words were sharp like knives. They cut into the hearts of the people listening. Some fans shouted bad words at him. Others sat still because they didn't know what to say. But no one looked away. Everyone watched him because he was like fire. You can't ignore it. The man who lost the fight stood up slowly. His face looked sad. He walked away from the mat, holding his ribs. He didn't look at anyone. He just wanted to go back to the locker room and hide. Riku walked back and forth on the mat like a big lion walking in its cage. His bare feet made soft slapping sounds on the floor. Every step showed power. He looked like he owned the place. Riku brought the microphone close to his mouth again. His grin got bigger. He loved the attention. "I throw them. I break them. I make them bow," he shouted. His voice filled the whole arena. Then Riku did something that made the crowd even angrier. He bent forward and made a bow, but it was not a real bow. It was fake, like a joke. He was making fun of the crowd and the sport. People started to boo louder. The sound was so strong it felt like the walls were shaking. And then, Riku stopped. Something had caught his eye. He looked at the edge of the mat. Sitting quietly near the front row was a man. This man was wearing a simple gray t-shirt and dark jeans. His arms were crossed. His head was bent just a little. His eyes were sharp, like a hawk watching its prey. He was calm. He didn't clap. He didn't shout. He just sat there watching. The man's name was Jason Statham. Riku knew that name. Everyone knew that name. Jason Statham was a big movie star. He was famous all over the world. He played tough guys in movies. He fought bad guys on screen. People loved him because he always looked strong and cool. Rika's eyes opened wide for a second. Then his mouth curled into a big smile. A smile like a hunter who just found a new animal to chase. "Well, well," Rika said into the microphone. His voice was full of mischief. He pointed at Jason. "And who is this? Some movie star? Some action man?" The crowd started to whisper. People looked at each other. They could not believe it. Jason Statham was really here. In the arena. In Tokyo. In front of their eyes. Soon the whispers turned into loud shouts. People started yelling Jason's name. Cameras flashed like lightning. Bright lights danced around as everyone tried to take a picture. Reporters stood up, holding their phones high. Jason didn't move. He didn't smile. He didn't wave. He just sat there with his arms crossed, staring at Riku. His face was calm. His eyes were serious. He looked like a mountain, still and strong. Rika laughed. His laugh was deep and mean. He shook his head slowly. "You think you're tough?" Rika shouted. "Yes, you. You sit there, arms crossed, judging me. You are nothing. This is a real fight. Not your cinema. Not your fake movies." The crowd gasped again. Some people laughed because they thought Rika was brave. Others booed even louder because they thought he was being rude. How dare he talk like that to Jason Statham? But Jason still didn't move. He just stared. His silence was louder than any shout. It made the moment feel heavy, like something big was about to happen. Rika wasn't done. He walked to the edge of the mat, closer to Jason. His steps were slow and strong. His voice got louder. His words cut like sharp blades. "Come on, Statham." Rika roared. "You want to be a man. You want to show these people you are not just an actor. Step in. Step in. I show you pain." The crowd went crazy. They started to chant. "Fight! Fight! Fight!" Their voices joined together like a giant wave. Then some people started shouting, "Statham! Statham!" The whole arena shook with the sound. It was like two storms crashing together. One storm saying fight, the other storm saying Statham. The noise was so loud it felt like the roof would break. People stood up on their seats. They waved their hands. Some were scared. Some were excited. Everyone wanted to know what would happen next. Jason didn't move. He stayed quiet for a long moment. It felt like forever. The whole world seemed to stop. The lights, the people, the cameras, everything waited. Rika leaned into the microphone one more time. His grin was wide. His voice was full of poison. "Or maybe," Rika said slowly, "maybe you are scared. Maybe you are just a Hollywood coward." That was it. The crowd exploded with noise. People screamed. Some booed Rika so loud their voices broke. Others shouted Jason's name as if calling a hero to come save the day. And then, Jason moved. Jason slowly unfolded his arms. He stood up tall. The sound around him was so loud it almost shook the air. The people in the crowd were screaming and cheering. It was like a giant wave of noise, crashing again and again. Jason took one step forward, then another. Each step he took made the crowd scream even louder. It was like electricity filling the room. But Jason was calm. His face didn't change. He didn't walk fast. He didn't look scared. He was calm like a big rock in the middle of a storm. He walked until he reached the edge of the mat. The floor was covered with soft tatami, the mat fighters used. He bent down, took off his shoes slowly, and placed them neatly to the side. He stepped onto the mat with respect, like it was something special. The referee ran up. He looked nervous. His hands were shaking. "This is not official," the referee said loudly. He was worried. He was scared this fight was not planned. Jason looked at him. Just one look. It was strong and sharp. The referee stopped talking right away. Jason's voice was deep and steady when he finally spoke. "I want this fight," he said. His voice was like a calm storm. Now, the crowd went crazy. People jumped up and down. They clapped and screamed so loud the walls shook. Everyone knew something big was about to happen. The bell rang. Riku, the champion, moved first. He was fast, super fast, like lightning. His eyes were sharp. He ran at Jason with the speed of a wild animal. His hand shot out, trying to grab Jason's collar. He had done this move many times before. It was his favorite move, the one that had made him win all night. Ricka spun his hips and tried a big throw, the same one he had used to smash other fighters to the ground. But when he tried on Jason, it didn't work. Jason's feet were planted like a tree with deep roots. He didn't move. He didn't shake. Ricka tried to pull harder. His muscles were tight. His arms were strong. But Jason twisted his body in one smooth motion and broke Ricka's grip. Just like that. Clean and easy. Ricka's face changed. His eyebrows pulled down. His mouth tightened. He looked angry and surprised. He tried again, this time faster. His hands moved like snakes, snapping, grabbing, reaching. But Jason moved even better. He stepped to the side. He leaned just enough to make Ricka miss. He didn't waste a single movement. Every step was perfect. The crowd gasped every time Jason slipped away. People could not believe what they were seeing. Jason wasn't just defending himself. He was watching Ricka carefully, reading him like a book. He knew what was coming before it happened. Ricka growled, low and angry. "Fight me," his eyes said. "Stand and fight." Jason's lips curled into the smallest smile. He didn't say much, but his eyes spoke back. "I am fighting." Ricka's face turned red. His pride burned like fire. He charged again, moving even faster. This time, he managed to grab Jason's sleeve. His fingers locked tight. Ricka let out a loud roar and spun his whole body. He pulled with all his strength, trying to throw Jason across the mat like a rag doll. The crowd roared with him, waiting to see Jason fly. But Jason didn't fly. He landed on his feet, light and quick, rolled like water, and stood up again without a scratch. It was like magic. He looked calm, untouched, like nothing had happened. The arena went wild. People screamed so loud the sound shook the seats. Ricka's eyes grew wide. His chest moved up and down fast as he tried to breathe. He looked shocked, angry, embarrassed. He had never seen this before. Jason just stood there, still calm, still strong, still steady. Ricka let out a loud scream and charged like a bull. He grabbed Jason by both lapels and yanked hard. His arms shook with power. His muscles bulged. But Jason moved like water. Smooth. Quick. He ducked low. Then, in one sudden move, he swept his leg. Bam! Ricka's body hit the mat hard. The sound was so loud it echoed across the arena. The floor shook. People in the crowd jumped to their feet and screamed. Ricka roared in anger. He jumped back up, his face red, his body shaking. But Jason was already there, ready. Quick as a flash, Jason hooked his shoulder under Ricka's arm and threw him again. This time Ricka flew through the air like a toy. His body flipped before crashing down with a giant thud. The mat rattled under him. The crowd shouted so loud it sounded like thunder. But Jason didn't stop. He moved again, faster than the eye could follow. His foot swept under Ricka's legs, and boom, Ricka hit the mat once more. Jason moved like a blade. Every move was sharp and clean. He wasn't just fighting. He was teaching Ricka something. Teaching him a lesson in front of everyone. The crowd was screaming Jason's name now. Their voices joined together like a storm. Statham, Statham, Statham. Ricka got up slowly. His legs shook. His eyes were glassy, almost empty. But deep inside they still burned with stubborn pride. He couldn't give up. Not in front of everyone. He let out one last loud scream. His voice cracked. His face twisted with rage. He ran toward Jason, fast but wild, like an animal with no plan. Jason didn't even blink. He stepped aside calmly, like a man avoiding a puddle. He hooked his arm under Ricka's arm and used his strength perfectly. Whoosh! Ricka's body flew high, flipping in the air like a bird that had lost its wings. Then slam! His back hit the mat, so hard the sound shook the hall. It was like thunder inside the building. The referee dropped to his knees right away. He waved his hands in the air. The fight was over. Jason stepped back slowly. His breathing was calm. He wasn't tired. He wasn't even sweating much. He adjusted his shirt like nothing big had happened. Like this was easy. Ricka lay on the ground. His chest rose and fell fast. His eyes stared at the ceiling. His face showed it all: shock, pain, and shame. Everyone could see it. The champion was broken. The arena was louder than ever. People clapped and cheered and shouted Jason's name. It sounded like the roof might break from the noise. Jason walked forward. He bent down and picked up the microphone someone had dropped earlier. He held it in his hand and slowly raised it. The crowd went silent. Every single person stopped shouting. They wanted to hear him. The silence was so deep you could hear people breathing. Jason looked at Riku. Then he looked at the thousands of faces watching him. His eyes were cold but calm. His voice was steady when he spoke. "You don't earn respect by shouting into a mic," he said. His words cut through the silence like a knife. He paused for a moment. His eyes narrowed. "You earn it on the mat." The crowd exploded. The cheers shook the building. People jumped and screamed. Some even cried. It was like a storm of sound, crashing and rolling again and again. Jason let the microphone fall from his hand. It hit the mat with a sharp clack that echoed through the hall. Without looking back, Jason turned and walked away. His steps were steady. His head was high. Behind him, Riku lay on the ground, still staring at the ceiling. His mind was full of Jason's words. They hit him harder than the throws that had slammed him into the mat. And in that moment, everyone in the arena knew something for sure. Jason Statham wasn't just an actor. He was a warrior, a real one. Wow, what a journey. I'd love to hear what you thought. Drop your reactions in the comments below. If this adventure left you smiling, inspired, or just itching for more, make sure to hit subscribe and tap that bell so you never miss the next story.